Konnichiwa, Japan fans. Today's show, we're going to talk about the buyer is wrong. Eigyo desu. それでは行きましょう. So let's get going. This is the 7th year of the Sales Japan series podcast, broadcasting around the world from the Beverly Hills of Japan, Minato-ku, here in downtown Tokyo. It is chic central. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, Dale Carnegie Tokyo franchise owner, the president of Dale Carnegie Tokyo Training, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, which is Zaegyo in Japanese, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery. Plus, stop wasting money on training in Japanese, training de okane o muda ni sume wa yamimashou, and these are all available now on Amazon. In this podcast, I want to help you to survive and even better, thrive in business. 1, sell more, do it more easily. 2, exceed your targets, in fact, blow up your targets. 3, make some serious money. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn. Unlike many other hosting organizations, Libsyn have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on Apple Podcasts. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show podcast. Tuesday, the Presentations Japan series. And every second Tuesday, the Business Touches in no Oshie Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcasto Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show podcast. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Now, this is episode number 333. And today we're talking about how do we tell the buyer they are wrong? Arguing with buyers is a slippery slope to sales oblivion. I told him off and made him fly straight is a leap into seller delusion. In Japan, the buyer isn't king, but God. The seller is in no position to tell the buyer anything here, let alone start arguing the point. The upshot is that Japanese salespeople, for the most part, are very weak in the face of the buyer's remonstrations. We often hear from our clients that they are concerned that their salespeople don't stand up for the brand, the deal, the price, and just roll over straight away whenever the buyer pushes back. This raises a prickly point about how do we counter buyer assertions which will make our sales job difficult or impossible if unanswered. We'll always know a lot more than the buyer about our firm, our goods and services, and our capacity to become a trusted partner for them. They will get things wrong for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they will hear something in the market from our rivals disparaging our financial state or our quality guarantees. Maybe they are just suspicious of salespeople based on hard-won experience, and they will challenge everything we purport. Maybe they're analytical personality types who won't consider any numbers short of 3 decimal places and are hard to convince. When we get the pushback, it triggers a primeval, emotional chemical reaction where the brain starts pumping adrenaline into the body for flight or fight. Because we need to make the sale, we always choose fight. What comes out of our mouth next is critical, and we absolutely cannot leave that to whim or chance. We have to be in total control and choose our next words extremely carefully. God doesn't brook impertinent salespeople arguing with them. If the buyer is mistaken in what they say, there is no point in trying to correct them directly. Never say, no, that isn't the case. In fact, we are better to take the scenic route and go around the claim. We know what they have said is factually incorrect, and that we can prove it. The way to introduce some truth into the discussion is to ask them a what-if question. This would be, what if X wasn't the case? Would that make it easier for you to consider the widget for your firm? What we want them to do is to admit that if X wasn't a problem, then they can proceed to consider our offer. Once we get that grudging admission, we can then lay on the evidence and proof. Again, we need to be circular in our language. For example, I understand the issue with X, and based on research published in Y, it seems to indicate that this previous flaw has been resolved and is no longer an issue. As far as our other clients go, we are getting feedback that they are very happy with the new version and are not experiencing any problems. Does that help to remove this X issue from your concerns? Find out more. We come back from the break. Today's show is brought to you by our public courses, but we also are doing custom in-house programs. We do them in both Japanese and English. We do them in our super safe classroom and live online. On the 12th of April, we'll be doing our Dale Carnegie course. This is our main course developed by Dale Carnegie, 100 years ago now. And you can imagine, how many training courses can you think of that can last for 100 years? Now, obviously, it's changed over the years. Obviously, the Kaizen on this course is phenomenal. Obviously, the results are spectacular. Otherwise, it just couldn't last. People wouldn't keep buying it if it wasn't working. And it works in every country around the world, in every language, in every culture. It's the human principles are the same. It's universal. Human nature is consistent around the world. The same problems we've got in Japan, they've got them every other country in the world, and every generation and every gender, you name it. We all face similar problems, and this is an answer to many of them because it delves into mindset particularly, gets us in a frame of mind about solving problems and fixing things that need fixing and doing things that need doing, and it gets us ready to go forward and succeed. On the 20th of April, we're doing a high-impact presentations program. This is the Rolls-Royce of presentation skills, I say, because it's a quality program, really high quality. 2 instructors, everything videoed, massive feedback, massive coaching, massive personal attention, massive improvement in a very short space of 2 days back-to-back. Very intensive, but also you come in one end, you go out the other, totally changed, just totally changed. It's awesome. Go to our website at www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. That's www.dale-carnegie.co.jp. Lots and lots of value there for you. To do better in Japan, email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching video, then we have nearly 2,000 there for you at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. Welcome back. Another approach would be to use the weight of numbers against them. We can say, we've supplied X to over 100 clients so far, and for the last 2 years, we haven't seen any reoccurrence of that previous problem after we issued a new and corrected version. It would seem the previous problem has been well and truly resolved. Are there any other issues besides this one which are a concern for you? We just gracefully glide past that issue they raised and move them along the sales cycle to expose any other issues which until now may have remained hidden. The presumption is that if there have been no issues for other clients, then this client can relax about it too. What if the client objects to the new pricing, especially if the pricing has gone up of late? We need a solid strategy for dealing with that pushback. As with any objection, we cushion first to stop the chemical reaction in us brimming to the surface, and we start arguing the price is just fine and dandy, thank you very much. We just say something quite neutral, such as, budgeting is always a critical element in business. That little aside gives us time to regroup mentally and think carefully about what we say next. The only thing we should say next is, may I ask you why you say that? We don't yet know the context of their objection, and we cannot answer them until we have that vital information. Once we know the detail of their concern, we can work on the angle of approach. We might agree with it. Yes, the prices have gone up quite quickly, and it's not just us. The whole industry is reeling from the war in Europe, raising energy input costs, combined with the supply chain confusion and the subsequent major uptick in cost to get things to Japan. At the moment, this is where we all are. But it won't last forever, and in the future we can get back to some greater normality. In the meantime, we have supply, and you've mentioned to me that you have a need and demand for our widgets, so shall we proceed? We're using a third-party argument here to indirectly say, it isn't us being greedy. This is just how the world is, and we all have to accept it, including you, the buyer. We make ourselves a small target, and instead stress the macroeconomic environment as being the trouble source. The key is to have thought all of this out before the meeting, so we are never caught cushionless, flat-footed, and struggling for a suitable answer to the buyer. If we are well organised, we never need fear buyers who push back hard and seem spoiling for an argument. Thank you for joining the Sales Japan series. If you found the program useful, then please work on your karma and share this with your family, friends and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Immediately apply what you've learned today. Go out there and survive. Use it and make some serious money. Bucks, dough, moolah, coin, dosh, lolly, ready, smackers, earners, and bread and honey. Remember, I'm in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.